Cool. All right, guys, welcome. Y'all hear me? Let's see, got some people hopping in. That's good. Very cool. Hopefully my audio's working, and we'll go ahead and we'll announce the winners here in just a minute. And we'll see who the lucky ones are. Cool. Where's everyone logging in from? Where are you at today? Let me know in the chat. You wouldn't mind? That way I also know you can hear me. Cool. Awesome. Philly, Cali, awesome. Where else is everyone at? Texas, sweet, Missouri, Florida, Boca Raton, awesome. Central Florida, cool. Good deal, guys. All right. Well, I am not going to keep you guys too long, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it rolling. Share my screen here. Let's go ahead and announce the winners. 2 minutes after 4. Other people log in. Awesome. They don't, that's cool too. I'll send an email out for those that couldn't make it live. So, all right, guys, perfect. So, our first winner of the giveaway is drum roll. I don't have a drum, but if you had a drum, Joven Eugenio. Hopefully, I pronounced that properly. Congrats, Joven. I will get you login details here shortly. So, Joven, you are our first winner. Congrats. And then our second winner is, drumroll again, Loretta Shun. Well done. So those are our winners, guys. Just as a quick recap, here's kind of the prize, just the recap. So I will send you details to the program. When you log into the program, guys, here's everything that you have access to. Okay, so you'll see like your screen, you'll see like the login. Can you guys see this okay? Go through the introduction. Now you'll notice at the end of each module, there's an action step, okay? So it's really important when you go through it, complete the action steps as you go. Why? If you complete the action steps, you're actually going to start doing the business as you learn about the business, okay? So it's you learn a little bit, you implement a little bit. And if you follow that cadence, that pattern, of just going through the videos and completing the action steps before you move on, that will ensure that you actually make progress. Okay. Knowledge is power, right? I like that saying, but that saying is not completely accurate. Knowledge is only power if you actually use the knowledge you gain. Okay. So, with that being said, make sure that you implement what you learn so that you can actually make progress and get results. That's why we do this business, is so that we can help other people get results while at the same time being able to make a good income for ourselves. Okay. You have everything in here that you need. Your first step is you're going to learn how to create leads, how to find leads. There's 4 different ways to do that. You've got your online lists, you've got your lists that you have to request that are kind of hidden, but if you request them, then you can get them. You can learn how to make your own lists, okay? And then you can buy lists, of course. That's the first thing that you're going to learn is how to basically create opportunity. Second, you're going to learn how to conduct research and skip trace, find people, right? Just because a lead is on a list, it doesn't mean it's a good lead to pursue, okay? You got to be aware of how to check debt, liens, how to confirm who the owner was, and then, of course, find that person, skip trace. Then, of course, you've got your scripts, so you can know exactly what to say. You've got examples of calls in here, so you can know, okay, what's it supposed to sound like, all that good stuff. So that's what you'll have access to. And of course, you've got
We'd also need proof you are.
you've also got your contracts. All your contracts are in here. Um, Everything you need to start putting deals together. Also, you've got access to the partnership program as well, okay? So that's in module 7. Here's kind of the how to submit a deal for partnering, all that good stuff. You've got your state specific modules over here and some bonuses as well, such as the 50 state guide, which shows you all the laws. Here, I'll just show this real quick to you guys. So this has all the laws for both.
You've had a different experience with, or something you think
Oh,
that should be.
this has all the laws and all the different 50 states, okay, for both tax and mortgage overages, as well as notes based on my experience, okay, if there's fee limitations, stuff like that. You also know if there's deed or lien states, which is helpful, the state foreclosure processes for each state, um, counties, and then this is a 50 state probate cheat sheet. This comes really in handy, guys, when you come across deals where the homeowners passed away. Super, super helpful to have that information. Okay. You've got your lead vault here, introduction to bankruptcy funds, unclaimed funds, and then some other bonuses on how to make money while you learn. Okay. So now, with that being said, guys, I know there was only going to be uh, 2 winners, but I would like to give out one more if that's okay with you. So I said I was only going to give out 2. Let's do another one just for fun, just to see if anyone else here is a winner. So let me pull up my fancy dancy little AI tool and let's see who else we've got. Let's see if they're here. All right. Let's see who the winner is. And our third and final winner, Tracy Enos. Tracy Enos. Congrats, Tracy. That is our third winner today. So are any of those folks here? Let's see if I don't even know if they're here. Is Tracy here or Loretta? She here? Or Hoban? If you're here, send me a message. And I'll get you all your access. So guys, now we've announced the winners. Congrats to all those guys. Congrats, Hovan, Loretta, and Tracy as well. Okay. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you didn't win, be on your lookout for an email tomorrow. So one thing that was really, I appreciate those that took the time to, really fill out those 2 questions on the survey because it kind of took me back to the beginnings, right? Like we all start somewhere. And if you know my story, you know that I got into this business because I formerly worked as a corrections officer at the Utah State Prison. I didn't really enjoy that job. It didn't pay very well. I think the most I ever made in a single year was 47 grand. And that was working, 12-hour graveyard shifts and not the greatest environment as you can imagine. Okay. So I started looking for ways to, make extra money, generate, new ways of income, and hopefully replace that job. And fortunate for me, I learned about surplus funds around 2014, 2015. I was trying a bunch of other things at the same time. I was in the process of getting my real estate license, and I had wholesaled real estate. So I was trying to do all these things at once. And luckily, I got a couple deals done and discovered that overages, this thing called overages, was real and legit, and it worked. And I did a few deals. And long story short, I won't bore you with all the details, but in 2017, I left my career as a corrections officer and just started going down the path of doing overages full time. And I haven't looked back since. I haven't had to go back to the prison, get a 9 to 5. I've been able to make surplus funds work and create a six-figure income working from home. And that's where we're at today. Fast forward to 2025. And with that being said, too, my program also teaches folks to do the exact same thing that I do, okay? And learn the process of successfully doing deals so that you also can accomplish whatever the goals are for you. And a lot of you spoke on how, you want to create extra income for yourself. Maybe you're not happy with your job. A lot of you spoke on how you want to not just do well for yourself, but you want to do well so that you can help others, which I completely relate to. And that's one good thing about this business, right? Is you get paid to basically be a superhero. You're playing Sherlock Holmes, trying to find these people. You're playing Robin Hood by taking money from the government, giving it back to normal, everyday people like ourselves. And that's really, and you get paid to do that, which is pretty awesome. Okay. And so what I've done is I teach people how to do it so they can do it themselves. And then, of course, I partner with people as well, right? And help them through the process. And people can partner with me if they want. They don't have to partner with me. The program gives you the tools to do it on your own, but also gives you the opportunity to partner with me as well. So I really, all that to say, thank you guys for filling out those forms and sharing a little bit of your story because I relate to a lot of it. Um, I know what it's like to not to struggle. It wasn't that long ago that I also was struggling. Okay. And especially even, here's the thing. I try to pride myself on not glorifying the business too much because although this business is real and it's a simple business, it does take hard work. Okay. You do have to, it can be a grind. Sometimes people won't accept your help. And that's sad, makes us sad, makes us feel bad, but it's part of the deal. Okay. It does take hard work to make this work, but the beautiful thing is once you gain the skill to help people recover surplus funds, nobody can take that skill from you. You can use it as much or as little as you want to make as much or as little money as you want for the rest of your life. And that's something that's really powerful. So, with that being said, to our three lucky winners, Hovind, Tracy, Loretta, congrats. You have everything you need to get started, and you can start doing deals. You can do it on your own. You can do it with me. Here's a couple examples, guys, of recent deals that I've completed in my business. If you're interested, sometimes you get big checks. Here's a $31,000 from August. Sometimes your checks are smaller. Your average deal is probably going to be around 5 to 10. Okay. I do smaller deals as well as big deals. This one was just under 5. And you can do it all over the country. Okay. Here's a really small deal for 2,300 bucks, but hey, an extra 2,300 bucks. I don't know about you, but that's nothing to sneeze at. That can add up. That might cover your mortgage payment, might cover your rent every month. And if you can do that consistently, it makes an impact. Okay. You can do it with mortgages. This was a mortgage overage deal, as well as tax deals. And sometimes you don't get checks. You can always have wires sent from your attorney as well. These are 2 wires that came in last month while I was out of the country. So that can help as well. You can work this business anywhere, okay? Anywhere you have internet, okay? Now, with that being said, guys, if you weren't one of the 3 winners today, keep an eye out on your email tomorrow for something special. Because I wanted to do something for some of those that really took the time to fill out the survey. So hopefully I've got some. If you didn't win, don't be sad. I might have something for you tomorrow that will still help you. Okay, get started. Cool? Cool. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Short and sweet. This was kind of fun. I've never done this before. Let me know if you think I should do it again. Um, but yeah, I've never done a giveaway before, so but hopefully it was, kind of exciting. But if you didn't win, maybe I'll do another one down the road. I'll keep you posted, okay? Um, just for fun, guys, what questions do you have about surplus funds or overages? Is there anything I can help? I've got a few more minutes. I've got to go soon, but let's take 15, 20 minutes. If you have questions, what questions do you have? You can either type in the chat or unmute yourself. And what questions do you have about the business or about me in general? If it doesn't have to be about the business, but is there anything I can do to help you? Anyone, anyone?
Yeah, Nick, this is Ed Thomas in Kentucky.
Hello, Ed.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for doing this. Um, my question is, when you're skip tracing people,
Yeah.
how hard is it to find them? And like, if you got a number, a numbers game. Can you talk about that and how difficult that? It seems like that would be one of the more difficult pieces to the puzzle here. So
100%. Yes. That's a great question. So let me tell you, here are the two biggest obstacles that we face in the surplus funds business. Number one, you already mentioned, which is how do you find these people? Number two, how do we help them understand that it's real and not a scam? Those are the two biggest obstacles we
right,
face. So let me answer your question about, okay, finding these people. How hard is it? Honestly, it depends on the person. There are some cases where they're still in the house. And when they're still in the house, that can be a little easier to locate them. But when someone moves out of the house, that's where it's like, okay, sometimes they go off the radar. And so it very much is a numbers game as far as calling, sending out letters. And a big aspect that a lot of people miss is they only try to find the person they're looking for. And what I mean by that is don't just try to reach out to the person you're looking, but try to reach out to anyone who may know the person. And that's how you can find folks. It really is, but it really is a numbers game. So, for example, if I've got a list of people, right? If I've got, say, 100 people on a list, I may never talk to 40 or 50 of those. I may never get a hold of them, or maybe they work with someone else. So you've got to really just because you've got a list, just understand that probably half are never going to respond. And then, of course, the people who do respond, then we have to overcome the skepticism and the is this real? Is this a scam? And that's where, it's really important to I like to be straightforward with people. Some folks in this industry say that you shouldn't tell them where the money comes from. I don't agree with that. Personally, I didn't have luck when I was doing that. Well, I'm just straightforward with people and I say, hey, I'm calling about this house. It's sold. Whoever bought it paid more than what was owed. You might be owed some money. Can I help you get it? Or can I send you some more information about how that works? And then I'll try to do, run through the math with them and try to help them understand how they're owed money. So, but yeah, skip tracing is it's an art and a science, but with it, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, great question. Um, cool. Webster family, how do you convince the person it's not a scam? I think I just talked on that a little bit. Again, I like to explain to them how the money came to be. Now, I may not say like where exactly the money is. Like if the money's held at the district court in, Utah County, where I'm at, I might not say that, but I'll say, hey, this money is from this house that went to auction. It looks like it sold for this much. How much did you owe? And then I let them do the math in their head. And they're like, well, I owed this. He's telling me it sold for this. So maybe there is something there, right? That's how I like to do it. Um, some people may disagree with me, and that's cool. You don't have to disclose it. I look at it like, well, here was my experience. When I first started doing this business, guys, I didn't disclose what the money was from. I just said, hey, you're owed money. And people would say, well, what's it from? And I was like, well, I can't really tell you because, we don't have an agreement in place and you'll go around me and blah, blah, blah. And what ended up happening is people got curious and they just go around anyway. They're like, oh, well, he's not going to tell me. I'm going to search around and figure it out myself. It just doesn't, it's not a good way to start like a relationship, right? Like, so that's why I made the switch. I'm like, I'm just going to tell them what it's from. And people were more receptive because of that. Um, what do you do about checking the DNC list? Good question. Great. There's plenty of great skip tracing softwares that will tell you if someone's on a DNC list. So you can definitely check that using these softwares. It's helpful as well if you don't want to deal with that whole potential issue, right? We don't want to get sued. So it's good to check the DNC list, and there's plenty of providers out there that do that. Here's a good question. Is there a state or county you would suggest to a rookie looking to get started? Um, Not really. So here's what I'll say about states to start in, guys. There is no state that's the best state for this business. It doesn't exist. Every state has its pros and every state has its cons. So this is an example I like to use. Florida is a wonderful state to get started because it's very, very easy to find leads and it's very, very easy to do your research. They have both mortgage and tax overages. So Florida's awesome because it's easy. But here's the flip side of that. Because it's easy to get the information, there's a crap load of people that work Florida. Very competitive in Florida. So that's the trade-off. The pro is easy to get started. The con, you're competing with a lot of people. Whereas if you're working a different state that maybe it's a little bit tougher to get the information, then less people are going to work there, but at the same time, it's probably going to take you a little bit longer to get started, right? Because it's going to take you longer to gather the information, gather the leads, and go from there. So the trade-off is less competition, takes more time to get started. So good question. So need a state that does not require an attorney. I mean, Florida, you can do tax overages without an attorney. California, you can do tax overages without an attorney. Here's the thing, guys, with attorneys. Let's talk about attorneys. I really value attorneys in this business because they help me make more money. How does that work? Most people are like attorneys, expense, hourly fees. I don't have the money to pay for an attorney. Here's the thing. You don't need money to pay for an attorney. Some attorneys will work on contingency, meaning they get paid when you get paid, so you don't need money out of pocket. Now, there are three ways that attorneys get paid. There's hourly, there's flat rate, and then there's contingency. Okay. Contingency is the most expensive because they're going to want a piece of the deal, typically about a third of your net profit. Not a third of the total overage, a third of your portion. Okay. So that's a little bit expensive, whereas maybe you might pay a flat rate of say like 2,500 or 3,000 or something like that. Hourly is usually the cheapest if your case is straightforward, easy, simple. On a straightforward case, you're working with the homeowner, there's no other liens or debts. Should take an attorney 4, 5, maybe 6 hours max to get a claim done for you, right? And so if an attorney charges $250 an hour, takes them 4 hours, okay, that's $1,000. And if you make 5 grand on the deal, minus your 1,000 attorney fee, you net 4. Shoot, I'll trade $1,000 for $4,000 every day of the week, as many times as I can. So attorneys are an investment, not an expense. And at the end of the day, they help me make money by taking care of the low dollar work, low dollar value work, which is filing claims, filling out paperwork. If you can avoid doing that work yourself, you can use the time that you save to go and get more deals signed. That's how I look at it, and that's how an attorney helps me make more money. Is they're doing a job that helps they do the job that I don't have to do. And if I can save the time of not doing that job, I can then spend more time getting more deals. So a good attorney is actually a really valuable asset to your business. Um, and you guys can feel free to use, I teach how to do this as well, right? How do you find attorneys? How do you negotiate? There's also a referral link for attorneys inside the program that you guys can use. So check that out if you want. But attorneys are valuable. However, there is definitely places you can do the business without using an attorney. I mentioned a couple to you, but I don't recommend it. If the money is if the money's held by the court, you're probably going to need an attorney. So keep that in mind. Where the money's being held is going to be a determining factor of whether or not you'll need an attorney or not. So keep that in mind. Cool. All right. Awesome, guys. Emails or letters? Both, guys. Any methods you can use to get a hold of someone, use it. Like ways of contacting people, whether it's, via the phone, via emails or letters, or messaging someone on social media. I see each method as a fishing line. The more lines you got in the water, the greater the chance you're going to catch a fish, right? So the more ways that you can reach out to people and connect with them, the better. Um, so I've used both to get a hold of people as far as emails and letters go. And then don't discount the power of the phone as well. Phone is very helpful, being able to have that conversation with people. Now going back to the question of state, like where to start, there's a little bit of an advantage to starting where you live, guys, but you don't have to. Depending on the state you live in, you may not want to start where you live. But if you do start where you live, that obviously gives you a little bit of a advantage because you may be local to a claimant. And maybe if someone is skeptical, you can meet them in person. You don't have to, but it's something you can do. Um, so keep that in mind. You may want to start locally where you live, but it's not absolutely necessary. Okay. Cool. Good questions. So out of 100 calls, how many deals will be made? Depends how many people answer out of the 100 calls. That's the big thing. So when doing the business, guys, you can track how many calls you make. Totally fine. But also track the number of conversations you have. Okay. The number of conversations you have with someone is critically important. If you're just getting started, expect around a 10% conversion, meaning if you talk to 10 people, you'll probably get one deal out of every 10 people you talk to. Now, if you're super good, maybe you're got some sales experience or you love talking to people, your conversion rate might be higher than that. Maybe you get 2 deals for every 10 people you talk to, or 3. Everyone's a little bit different. Um, but yeah, it's for about expect about 1 out of 10, so 10%. So if you talk to 10, you should get a deal. So then the question becomes, okay, how quickly the quicker you can get to talking to 10 people, the sooner you can get a deal. So, great question. This is a good question from Destiny. Do you recommend starting up with a business first rather than just your own personal name? This is a really good question. I'll tell you what I did, guys. I just started without a business name or an LLC or anything. Like I had a name, but I didn't have like an LLC or a corporation when I got started. So it's perfectly fine to start the business without an LLC, without a corporation. That's fine. You just put your name on the contract and call it a day. Okay. Now, once you've done a deal or two, cool. Then you can take the time to go get an LLC set up and all that good stuff. It's not too difficult. You know, you can get an LLC done in a day or two, or you can pay someone couple $100 to do it for you, but it's not hard. Um, but it's not a necessity in the beginning. Okay. It is not a necessity in the beginning. Don't make the mistake of playing business instead of doing the business. What do I mean by that? What the heck? Here's what I mean. A lot of folks will spend a lot of time, energy, and even money constantly preparing to do the business. Oh, I've got to get an LLC. Oh, I've got to get a website set up. Oh, I've got to get my bank account, my business bank account set up. These are all nice things to have. They're all good to have in a business, but they don't mean anything unless you're actually doing business. And they're not going to be the thing that determines whether you do business or whether you succeed. So I highly encourage folks who are just starting, do the business, don't play the business, meaning focus your time, attention, and energy on finding people who are owed money and talking to people who are owed money and letting them know who you are and how you can help them. You focus your time and energy on those things and you do that consistently, that's how you succeed. Okay. And then the other stuff can come down the road. Website, LLC, business bank account, CPA, all that stuff can come later, guys. You do not have to have it in place in order to get a deal done. So awesome. Okay. All right, cool guys. Well, I've got to head out. Appreciate you guys again for taking the time, be part of this first giveaway I've ever done. And if you enjoyed it, maybe we'll do it in the future. Maybe we'll do some more. But congrats to our winners. Keep an eye out on your email tomorrow as well for something special. And we'll catch you in the next one. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you later.